All right, welcome everybody to our first game here today at the Heroes Battle Arena. We are looking at the draft to game number 1 between Roccat and G2 Esports. It is Dragonshire, and as you can see, we had an immediate ban on Uther. Now, Uther is being played with ETC for Divine Shield, Moshpit, and a lot of other situations, of course, as well, where we oftentimes see a Sonya come into play. The Tyrande ban isn't really too surprising either if you've paid attention to the meta lately. She can be played as a solo support, solo healer, and then is still extremely strong with that extra stun that she brings in and her trade. So G2 Esports, they decide to go into Kalthas first. Roccat at this point, they could start things up with a Jaina composition. Jaina Meridian has been used by other teams before. Dragonshire usually not really a map where we see too much Abathar in the European scene. If this was Cursed Hollow, it would be very likely that they go into Abathar. But they lock down that ETC plus Jaina. So instead of using Meridian, they use ETC now as the stun, like the initiation of a stun, so that Jaina can start to get the damage in. They could have chosen Meridian here, but with ETC you have that Mosh Pit later down the road as well, after level 10, which is incredibly strong. G2 Esports are most likely going to pick up that Meridian though, so they have a chance now to go into Meridian, unless they want to ban him out and just want to deny it to Roccat, because ETC plus Meridian can be really strong, and they lock down a Tyrael even before that. Alright, so they are one of the teams that actually want to play Tyrael really badly. You have basically seen him banned out in most of the games, since the cool thing about Tyrael is that he has Sanctification, so he can negate most of the damage that heroes like Jaina can dish out in an area, and that's great for him. They pick up 2 of their warriors. That Meridian that I've been talking about is still part of the picks that we see here for them. So that's already a very strong start with the beginning of like a front line. But we have Roccat now with an opportunity to ban something out. And one of the things that they could ban out is either support. We already saw bans on Uther and Tyrande, so supports that are still very likely to be played in this game now are a Tacita, a Karazim, and a Brightwing could also be played, especially since Dragonshire, of course, is a map where coordination is extremely important, and also like the position on the map, so Brightwing can jump from the bot lane shrine up to a fight in the top lane. But G2 Esports is denied Johanna. Now that is actually something that I didn't really expect here. We've seen a lot of triple warrior lately, but not as much that I would say Roccat has to be afraid of G2 Esports picking that up right now. Depends a bit on what they want to do. But for now, we have that ban against Tacita. I've already said that support bans are likely. And Roccat, they still have their pick. And with Karazim and also Brightwing still around, also the Malfurion as an option to counter some of the damage that Kalthas is able to dish out with the level 13 talent Chain Bombs. There is still a lot to pick from. So it's not like G2 Esports is suddenly going to run out of supports that they can pick. That was a few months back. But Roccat, they probably still need an auto-attack damage dealer. Falstad is extremely strong in that regard. We also have Reyna, we see him a lot. Another hero that you could pick, but is mostly seen on other maps, is Vala. Because with Vala you can go into an auto-attack build and still rely on Giant Killer. But mostly she's currently being used with a multi-shot build. Leoric is the second tank that they are currently utilizing here, and he of course with Drain Hope can do quite a bit of damage to these high hit point tanks like Muradin. Tyrael, not really that high hit point guy himself, but of course also really nice with the slows and also the Wraith Walk into the entire setup here. At this point though, I would still expect them to either drop their healer right now, or instead simply go on off their second damage dealer, because I still think that a second damage dealer for them would make a whole lot of sense. You want to go into a Falstad, into a Reyna. You have a bit of zoning abilities like with both of them. You can use Mighty Gust. You have of course also that Giant Killer, which is going to be strong against Muradin and Tyrael. But they could pick the healer right now. Holy shit. Alright, talking about support. Thanks for supporting the channel Decepti. Cheers, buddy.
Keep the good work up, Caldor. Like your stream and the way you cast.
Will do, bro. Will do. Thanks for the support, buddy. And yeah, Karazim is indeed their healer, so we have them with a heal immediately at the beginning, and that allows them to be a bit more flexible with the damage dealer that they're going to put in. So an Arthur's triple warrior after all for G2 Esports. And as a support, now this is going to become extremely interesting. I feel like with the options that they have right now, Brightwing could be pretty cool, but yeah. You have a triple support or triple warrior already. Tyrael supplies shields, Arthas has a lot of self-sustain. with the talents, especially in level 7, if you go for Army of the Dead, or then of course as well. Muradin can heal himself with his trait once that he's out of the fight. But that's a pretty cool setup. Brightwing, as suspected, is the healer for them. And Roccat, I mean, they have to go into a Giant Killer. Falstad or Reyna would be my choices here. I personally would prefer the Falstad, but you can play Reyna here now as well. So it's basically a matter of personal preference what exactly they want to play here. But I feel like one of these two heroes should be used against this really melee-heavy setup that G2 Esports uses right now. Giant Killer is going to be absolutely key here. And of course, the Seasoned Marksman build in general can, towards the later stage of the game, really give you the damage that you need to take down one of these heroes. The problem with Reyna is that you don't have an escape, so you have to be super careful how you position yourself if you go up against this lineup. Since we have Arthas with a lockdown, he can use the Howling Blast, Muradin can use the Stormbolt, and we have also, of course, then Kel'Thas with the Gravity Lapse, so that would be extremely powerful, and therefore it is, of course, Falstad. So that was kind of expected that we see Falstad here taking over Reyna. I guess Reyna adds a few more things to the entire setup that are kind of nice, but you have the problems that I've just talked about, so the Falstad not really a big surprise here, and a good choice for Roccat. So they will, with ETC, have someone at the front line who can really try to just like lock these heroes down a bit, or at least keep them away from the back line. And then Falstad needs to dish out the damage. It's nice control on the side of Roccat. I mean, we have those slows on Jaina, we have Leoric with the skeleton swing. As long as you stop all of those frontliners to jump into your backline and focus down Jaina and Falstad, you should be fine here. But it's of course a very good setup for both of the teams right now, going into Dragonshire as our first map. And well, I guess we're going to jump in right now and find out which team is going to take the lead here at the Heroes Battle Arena. Yeah, so looks good so far. And do we have a map already, or lobby? I actually think we do. Okay, so we have G2 Esports, in this case actually not hosting. Let me quickly adjust my overlay, since they spawn on the other side. Okay, so a big shout out, by the way, once again to Decepti. For the donation. Thanks for the support, bro. Very much appreciated. And yeah, we'll keep the work up. A lot of work in the next few days, as I already said. Like, we have so many live streams now. It's pretty awesome. And this is, of course, going to be pretty good as well. Yeah, welcome back, everybody who left earlier. We had a bit of a bigger break, but we are going into the game right now. Apparently, Nika and Shihu were both battling about the Arthur's lockdown. But right now, it seems that neither one of them is actually playing him. Nope, Nika decided to go for it. Okay, Shihu locked him in originally, and then Nika suddenly started in, but yeah. And alright. By the way, I just released a couple of additional videos on Calvo TV on YouTube. So if you haven't seen these Heroes Battle Arena matches just yet, then you should definitely check it out, because we had some absolutely incredible games there already. Team Liquid, Fnatic, like they've all been playing their games, and these games can all be found on Calvo TV on YouTube. So if you haven't seen all of the matches yet, make sure that you hop over there. And by the way, if you haven't really subscribed to the channel yet, you should definitely do that, at least if you're a Heroes of the Storm fan and if you like esports, because to my knowledge, that's kind of the only channel right now that with regular uploads on this. Okay. Game starts. Time to dump the coffee. Nice. All right, boys. Let's get the show on the road. We have our first game starting here. And of course, that means that in this case, Dragonshire is going to be the map that is being played. But yeah, let's get things started with map number 1 at the Heroes Battle Arena between Roccat and G2 Esports. Game number 1 on Dragonshire has now started, and as you can see, we have to the left side of the map Roccat, and to the right it's G2 Esports. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series at the Heroes Battle Arena, and we have ETC on Soccer, Radix on Jaina, Sportbilly on Leoric, Hazops is playing the Falstad for Roccat, and we have Garan Paquete, the former Team Liquid player, on Karazhan. To the right side of the map, it is Nika for G2 Esports on Arthas. They play a triple warrior lineup here. Shihu on Muradin, Bashek on Kel'Thas, Leo from Korea on Brightwing, and Juve is playing Tyrael here. So this is going to be a fun one. I mean, Fawcett, of course, is incredibly strong right now since a few of his talents got shifted around in the last patch, and he can now easily go for Seasoned Marksman and still add the power throw to his composition. So that's going to be pretty fun. We're also seeing Transcendence as the level 1 talent on Karazim. We've just recently seen Iron Fist making a bit of a comeback since it was buffed in the last patch. And already the fight in the mid lane with a 5 versus 4, so Roccat should be a bit careful. They are rotating away as we speak. But yeah, so far no kills in the games just yet. And Bashik and Nika moving down to the bot lane where we see Red X and Sport Billy against them. Nice lockdown attempt by Nika. Not successful, but they might get the kill against Arthas. They just barely don't get it in, but now there's the kill against Tyrael instead. Sport Billy, of course, loses some hit points to the Tyrael explosion. But this is the first blood for Roccat. They are playing a strong game here. And for Hazops, it's going to be super important that he really stacks these Seasoned Marksman stacks as much as he can, so that in the late game he will be able to even put more pressure onto the opponents. Brightwing also dying now, right here in the mid lane. That's the second kill, and the rotations are still ongoing for Roccat. They're going straight for the first, for the first shrine now that it's active on the map as well. Brightwing should actually allow G2 Esports to have a bit mobility on the map to really counterplay the shrines that are going to be taken by Roccat. But for now, Zocca has to push away here. It's an interesting setup that we see from Roccat. They insisted on those 3 warriors, and it is a bit, well, it can actually like backfire quite a bit, because we have of course a lot of potential here to have this brawly front line going deep and G2 Esports taking down a few heroes. But right now they're up against Red X and they lose another one. They lose Arthas right now. It's the slow on Jaina, the slow thanks to the skeleton swing on Sport Billy, the stuns that we see from Soccer and others, and of course also that burst damage that we have in play. Another problem later on is going to be Hazops with the giant kill on level 13. Nice dodge on the Stormbolt. Shihu missing it here. Now with the level 4 talents, we already have now the power throw after Seasoned Marksman. We see ETC again with a bit of damage. Still went for the double neck guitar after the proc rock, which is pretty normal. We could on level 7 now see him also with another guitar solo talent. But on level 13 we will definitely see groupies for him. Whereas on the side of their opponents, again the pressure against Shihu, and he's jumping away, but just look how much damage he's already eating here. Leoric in the mid lane has actually died and needs to be careful there, as G2 Esports is now starting to take control of the bottom shrine and also establishing quite a presence in the mid lane. So when it comes to the lower part of the map, they're actually doing a bit better now. They're still behind in kills and experience, but they are starting to find their stride here. And in the mid lane, we have another attempt, this time for Keltha. Sport Billy with the Drain Hope instantly, but the dodge, oh my god, the gravity lapse, thanks to the Veteran Sphere, they live 2, and they might get that double kill. They already took down Jaina, and Leoric, oh my god, is so low. That was extremely close. And G2 Esports is really showcasing now that warrior setup that they have here. They also force their way down to the bot lane, where we are going to see that shrine taken by Leo. And that means that they control both, but the top lane shrine has now been capped by Hazops. He went straight in as he realized that they would lose out on the bottom. Sport Billy misses his Drain Hope here. Hazops is in the bush, just waiting for a chance to put some additional pressure onto Muradin. As we see down here, Karazim now falling. A 4-man attack down to the bot lane. 11-7 talents now. 3 kills against 3. And G2 Esports with a lot of aggression at this point, really just trying to roam the map, take down individual heroes, and at the same time also going straight for those Dragon Knights again. We see to the top lane, Shihu capturing another shrine, and here comes Hazops moving in. They are trying to take him down. He doesn't have his jump ready. Oh, actually he does. Back to cooldown. Very well done. The thing is, though, that in the mid lane we have an attempt, or we had an attempt to go for the Dragon Knight, but it looks like at the top Hazops was still capping out the shrine here. So at least for now, there's no chance to get the Dragon Knight for G2 Esports. In regards to the talents, we have now the Secret Weapon and the Ghastly Reach taken. And when we're looking at G2 Esports side, it is of course the Phase Shield after Peekaboo. Down to the bot lane, Jaina is under pressure, and both of the shrines are again under the control of G2 Esports. They fight at the top lane, where Hazops is attempting to force Shihu back, but it's not really working. And in the mid lane, as you can see, they are all going straight for the Dragon Statue. And at this point, G2 Esports is just like driving Zocca away. Red X is attempting to move in and help him out, but Shihu already jumps in, and they try to go for a kill here. But of course, that also makes them neglect the top lane, where Hazops caps out one of them. But Juve is there. Shihu is trying to stun him out, but in this case, doesn't work. So the game shifted a bit from the super aggression that we had on the side of Roccat at the beginning. We are now seeing G2 Esports making most of the moves and really forcing the opponent back. It shows how strong, especially in the early stage of the game here, these warriors are, because they dish out the damage. They have a lot of sustain as well. Their problem is going to lie in the later stages of the game, when we're going to have the heroic abilities, especially when we're going to see Falstad move in with that attack damage that he has. Lockdown against Sport Billy in the mid lane, and he dies. As we have 4 heroes again going for Prowl, trying to take heroes down. Grand Paquete has to be careful. He's going to try and dash in any second right now with the rest of the team. But we're having at the top lane still that battle between Muradin and Falstad. Over here, though, it's Grand Paquete. He gets attacked, needs to dash away, and does so in the last second. Level 10's nearly ready for G2 Esports. The Polish team is doing well, but they lose Nika now. And that gives even more experience to Roccat. Already 8 kills in the game, only 6 minutes in, and we haven't seen a Dragon Knight just yet. But the stun against Hazops at the top lane, he barrel rolls over the edge. We have now level 10 ready with Sanctification, Blink Heal, Phoenix, Avatar, and most likely on the remaining hero, Arthas, we could see that Army of the Dead, unless he wants to go into Syndragosa to help the team out with positioning during the fights, maybe even disabling a few of the structures and then pushing them. It's something that you can do very well if you also hold the Dragon Knight, but he goes into the Army of the Dead for the extra sustain, and by now we are seeing Roccat with their level 10s as well, which leads us into Mosh Pit, Water Elemental, March of the Black King. We have the Divine Palm and the Mighty Gust, and still no Dragon Knight. Once again, Zokke down here at the bot lane, needs to be careful. Oh, but we have Sport Billy also starting to move in, and they go for Nika again. They want Arthas. He doesn't have an escape, but he has the Army of the Dead, and that's what he uses. The Water Elemental is already in play, as we're seeing the Phoenix used by Bashek on his Kelta. Zokke with the Mosh Pit attempt. Divine Palm is saving his ass, as Grand Paquete is securing this, but he gets Gravity Lapse just as he's trying to dash away, and gets taken down now too. So it's another kill for G2 Esports. Sport Billy is also dying. He was more or less trapped here with his Leoric. And up to the top lane, we're still seeing the fight between Shihu and Hazops. But Shihu is already eating a fair amount of damage here, and that is becoming a problem. Hazops has a couple of Seasoned Marksman stacks already, and he's really doing a great job kiting, but he eats that Storm Bolt anyways. Down to the bot lane, it's another fight between Red X, Zokke, Leo from Korea, and Nika. And Nika might die here, but Brightwing is jumping in for the face shield, and Bashek is already in position now too. At the top lane, Hazops had to move away. He nearly died on his Falstad, as you can see, but still managed to hold Muradin off a little while. To the bot lane, with 4 heroes, Roccat was able to secure themselves 1 shrine and deny the Dragon Knight, at least for now. But the problem is they're down 1 level. And that's, of course, a big issue. Once level 13 is hit for the opponent, they will get the better position on the map itself, and then maybe also get that Dragon Knight. But that would be a good kill against Nika if they can secure it, and they do. They take Arthas down, more experience for them, they start to close the gap, and they push this lane even harder. 5 kills against 6, 11 kills overall, 8 minutes into the game, and at the top lane, Hazops with a damage against Shihu, eating that Storm Bolt again. Level 13 would be so good for him. That's, oh, the Gravity Lapse, pushing them away. It would be so good right now for Hazops to have that Giant Killer, and he will have it soon. We have again, of course, Arthas back to business. Now it's a 5 versus 5 on the map once more, and level 13 is ready for G2 Esports. And they take the Chain Bomb, of course, the Thunder Strike here for the extra damage against solo targets. Relentless for Arthas, a great talent in this particular situation, and imposing will plus the Pixie talents on the side of Brightwing. So this is going to be a very cool fight now for the Dragon Knight, since both of the teams are going to attempt to use that level 13 talent. G2 Esports already has it, but we're seeing their opponents in just a second also with 13, and that's when those 3 frontliners are going to have a tough time against Falstad, who will get that extra damage in. Sport Billy in the mid lane is still trying to hold them back. We have 1 shrine at the bot lane. defend for a little bit, but Juve and Leo are going to take this one. Roccat should be able to move away, but Shihu, on the other hand, he might not be able to do that, especially now that he's stunned. Avatar being used, but Hazop says thank you. He has the Giant Killer by now, and he is putting it to some really good use. Down goes Muradin, 6 kills against 6. Still a lead in experience for G2 Esports. We're seeing next to the Giant Killer also Guru Beast, the improved Ice Block, Crushing Hope, and a Relentless. And now the chance to go for a Dragonite, and Hazops actually caps it 10 minutes in, and the first Dragonite for Roccat. They are starting to move into the mid lane, dropping the first tower, and the structures are just falling one after another. Hazops with really solid plays here so far. Has not died on his fall stat yet, I think. And, well, we can confirm that real quickly. Yes, he hasn't died yet, and he has done a lot of damage. 28,000. He is currently holding the top spot, not only for his team, but also in the game. And it's most likely going to continue this way, since he will be able to do more and more damage towards the late game, thanks to Seasoned Marksman, and of course also his Giant Killer. So that's going to be super important for them here. Down to the bot lane, we have an attempt to take down ETC. Soccer power slides away. Juve actually gets kicked away by Hazops. Well, that worked for now. And we are still having a bit of a fight here in the mid lane, where Sport Billy, Red X, and Roccat are facing Shihu and Nika. Juve is now also moving in again. Tyrael has a bit of a problem there, but Brightwing is ready. Leo jumped in, and that Dragon Knight for Hazops is still doing work. Barshek is actually extremely low right now. Eats another Fire Breath, and the kick does kill him! In the butt. Kel'Thas gets the kick, and gets kicked to death. Well done. Dragon Knight kick kill at this point. It's a little bit embarrassing, but of course something that he couldn't really avoid there. Probably didn't expect Hazops to really move back down. So for now we have level 16 talents dropping any second now. And, well, Soccer, could he power slide in? Doesn't seem to have his cooldown up, but Leo pulled him off him anyways. But by now, we're seeing a slightly inexperienced for Roccat, and they go straight in. Oh, Mighty Gust used! And they just burst Arthur's away. That's the level 16 talent. That's also going to be the fort at the bot lane. Speed Metal has been taken, the renewed swing on Leoric. We're seeing them with Northern Exposure. And, of course, Hammer Time plus Circle of Life. So they can steal a few of the camps away at this point. And Roccat, they have 8 kills against 6 now. It's still a very similar position when it comes to talents, but they are currently really dominating this game with their rotations and doing an incredible job there. Holy Ground has been used on Tyrael. We're seeing also the additional Pixie talent with the Bouncy Dust on level 16 for Brightwing. And at the same time, more and more sustain. Arcane Barrier, Stone Form, and Stone Skin are being used now to keep these heroes alive a bit longer during these fights, and Hazops is already attempting to get even more Seasoned Marksman stack right now. He's up at the top lane, and they are going for the next set of towers. More experience for them, so he's gonna get those. And that's going to be really helpful, but we have a bot lane camp stolen away from them. And that's a very annoying one, because this one is going to attack the structures immediately, and everybody is currently at the top lane, so they have to rotate around if they really want to deal with this, because they're going to lose out on the tower eventually, and then also the fort itself. So someone has to move down to really deal with those 2 siege giants, or it's going to be a bit of an issue. For now, we have, Roccat. He's not even able to move through there. The tower is already down, but now they burst the camp away, and we have, again, the shrines activated on the map. At the top lane, as you can see, Shihu is taking it. Hazops is waiting a bit. We have in the mid lane, Nika and Sport Billy going up against each other. But Hazops is actually waiting for Shihu to just like move down the lane. But here comes again Muradin! And is it gonna be the stun? Hazops has to be so careful here. That Thunder Strike talent level 13 is giving Muradin so much damage against single targets. And if you face him one-on-one on one of these shrines, you have to be just so careful, because that can really wreck you. 300% extra damage on that Thunderclap. Hell yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot, actually. And even Hazops, with his auto attack build and the Giant Killer, will not be able to simply burst down Muradin. Red X is trying to go for the Dragonite now. Once again, both the shrines under the control of Roccat. Phoenix already used. Barshek is really trying to zone them out right now, but we still have that fight raging up here at the top. Roccat is going to try and move in. Already moving away thanks to the chain bombs. Nika with a stone skin. Look at Leoric. Oh, he's not going to get out of this, is he? He's actually moving away. And the kill against Arthur's. Oh my god, Shihu misses the Storm Ball. I can't believe it. He gets shielded, and right now it looks very, very bad for G2 Esports. Here comes Shihu. He jumps in, goes for the clap at Hazobs, dodged it masterfully. And now, even with only one kill, they can go for the Dragonite again. Brightwing, on the other hand, moved down to the bot lane, is trying to get the Shrine. Sportbilly doesn't even go for the Dragonite right now. They're attempting to get another kill, but Muradin and Juve both survive with only a few hit points. And in the case of Muradin, of course, thanks to his trade, he's nearly back to full health. Hazobs is there, again a missed Stormbolt. Shihu is having the worst luck in this game now. Sportbilly goes for the next Shrine in the mid lane. Grandpa Kette and ETC are currently holding the position, but the bot lane Shrine has also been captured by Leo a bit earlier. So even though they lost the hero and were extremely low in 2 of their warriors, it looks, at least for now, like G2 Esports is not going to have suffer another Dragonite. We have the rotation at the bot lane. Hazobs is everywhere on this map right now. I mean, he is really making sure that they're always in position to take one of these shrines at least. Red X pushes some extra pressure onto Shihu as Sportbilly is capturing the shrine up to the top, but the rotations are still ongoing, and in this case we're seeing the camps now taken on the map, and that of course will force Roccat eventually to deal with those siege giants. But looking at damage in general, 53,000 already on Falstad. So much damage dished out by him, thanks to all those frontliners that are of course willing targets. And again, Falstad active on the map, moving down to the bot lane Shrine and trying to capture it so that they can get another Dragonite. The level 20 talent is going to be incredibly important. Once you have those Storm talents, you unfold the entire power of your build, and especially Hazobs. If he goes for Nexus Frenzy and not for the Epic Mount, then he will be able to just do even more damage than he already puts on their opponents, and that would be absolutely incredible for them. And here come the 20s, and we have of course the Bolt of the Storm on ETC. There's the Nexus Frenzy. Peaceful Repose has been taken, plus Hardened Shield and Bolt of the Storm. And now Falstad at the top lane. And this is a machine gun that he unleashes on Shihu. Shihu with the Avatar. Hazobs has to barrel roll away, but there's 4 heroes coming his way. Sportbilly on the other hand is helping him out, and the rest of Roccat is also starting to move in as they claim another shrine. They want that Dragonite, and it's a 17-minute Dragonite now. We only saw one in the game, and that was 7 minutes ago, but by now everybody is moving down to the bot lane here again, or the mid lane at least for now, and Red X is going to try and take it, and he does. So it is the second Dragonite for Roccat in this first game of the best of 3 series here at the Heroes Battle Arena. And everybody is starting to move down to the bot lane. They want to go for keep now, ideally, of course, and that's why they focus their attention to the bot lane where the fort has been destroyed already. Red X is going to do so much damage with this Dragonite here. Let's not forget about Hazobs. He's a monster now on Falstad. He can do so much damage here. So they're starting to move in again. Oh, but Hazobs taking a lot of damage. Even the Phoenix being used to try and zone him out a bit, as we see level 20 is hit for G2 Esports. And they are using 2 Hardened Shields already. Could even add another one, and they do. 3 Hardened Shields. This is the one on Tyrael now with Brightwing going for Rewind, so you then can use the double Polymorph and the Bolt of the Storm to give Kel'Thas even more safety. Juve even moving in from behind, but now Hazobs can start those auto attacks, and Red X is still going for the keep, and he is of course going to get it. He needs to move out of this one though, because, well, that's a Jaina, and she's in trouble already. Blinks away though, and immediately they attempt to go for Mosh Pit, which was already cancelled. But look at Hazobs and that kiting that he just chose. Again, he isolates Muradin thanks to a Mighty Gust, and even more damage now on Muradin. But these guys are so tanky. Thanks to the Hardened Shields, they can just easily tank that and move back in, which is exactly what they're currently trying to do. So they lost the keep, and that's all that Roccat wanted to do. So Roccat already on the way back, just like saying, boys, we got the keep. Let's keep it at that. Don't move in too far now. It's 9 kills against 6. And just to give you another idea about the damage output that we are seeing here on Hazobs, he is at 68,000. 68,000 damage with a build that mostly dishes out single target damage. Absolutely incredible. That Falstad is a monster at this point. Kel'Thas is starting to catch up a bit with his chain bombs. He's at 53,000. And we are seeing Arthas with 40,000. Those tanks, of course, at the front line are also dishing out a fair amount of DPS. Top lane, though, Falstad, who's currently everywhere in this game, is trying to burst down even more structures. They took away one of the camps, and Juve was attempting to take it. He jumped in the last second with the holy ground, but a bit too late to really get the camp here. And, well, for now, it looks like Roccat is going to start to make their plays. Keep in mind, though, that all of these structures are still ready on the side of Roccat. They haven't lost anything yet. Up to the top lane, the 5 versus 5 fight. Leoric isolated. Mighty Gust is trying to save him. Falstad playing this really well. Has ops. I like a lot what I'm seeing here. He's playing a great game at this point. The rest of the team, of course, always creating a lot of space for him so that he can use all of his abilities as best as possible. But we have now the move at the top lane. All of the camps have been blown away by Bashik and Nika mostly. And we're seeing them going straight for the first shrine again, because it is Dragon Knight time once more. And the team's on level 21. We're 20 minutes into the game. And that more or less means that if Roccat is able to get another Dragon Knight, they will simply move through the bot lane and eliminate the core. And that is something that G2 Esports is very well aware of. What they are attempting to do now is, well, get the Dragon Knight themselves and attempt to just like burst through these forts. But it's very unlikely that they can follow through with a core attempt, since they have to go through all of these structures first. So once again, small fights happening on the map. Grandpaquette is isolated from the rest of the team. Not the ideal situation if you're missing out on your healer. But at the bot lane, we're having a 4 versus 3 now as Yuba jumps in. And they are bursting Leoric down. Leoric lost a lot of hit points already. Falstad at the top, secured one of the shrines. And now it's just a matter of time when we're going to see that team fight unfold in front of us. Falstad is still waiting here. We're currently seeing at the bot lane a bit of a commitment by G2 Esports. They're saying, let's go for these structures right away. There is the attack. Shihu is about to jump in. Yuba already in position. Sanctification has been used. Hazops is in play. He flew in a second ago. And here comes the Phoenix as Bashik is blinking away from Socket. The polymorph is hitting ETC too. They go straight for ETC. Try to move him back. His mosh pit got interrupted before it even went through. So he's going to be back in a second. Back online, cooldown is done with, and Shihu is so low here. He's getting healed, popped everything that he had, Stoneform in particular, but we have the rotation to the top lane from Nika. But this could actually, it's not gonna work. Sport Billy is gonna get it. He's gonna get the Dragon Knight. Nika was too late with Arthas at the top, and that is now the move for the core. Sport Billy is starting to move in here. And this is going to be absolutely horrifying for G2 Esports. They will have such a tough time keeping him outside of the base and not directly on court to take this one on. Nika, oh, Sport Billy already kicking them away. Nika is trying to go for the backline. He is trying to lock somebody down. Doesn't really look like they can, though. The fight is happening, and the Dragon Knight is on core, so they have to focus him. But the rest of the fight is happening back here, where we have Nika, Shihu, and Yuba, the 3 tanks, attempting to like burst somebody down. Hazops with so much damage against Shihu. Red X is going in for the additional slow and sustain. The core is already at 70%. Everybody jumping out, but the Dragon Knight is going for core and is doing a massive amount of damage. Sport Billy is nearly gone, but just look at that core percentage. It's at 25, and all they have to do is focus it down, and they do. Game number 1 ends in favor of Team Roccat. Great start into the best of 3 series here at the Heroes Battle Arena for the team in blue. Yeah, solid play. Solid play by Roccat. Really well done. So they take